You want to live your best life. You want to be in great shape. And there's one mistake that some people make that guarantees their fitness failure. And this episode will not only outline what that number one mistake is, but also tell you how you can fix it or avoid it so you don't fall prey to this common mistake. Tune in and take notes.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
One of the benefits of having worked with thousands of people over the years in the coaching space, helping them to set up great, successful, healthy lifestyles and habits, is you also identify the things that tend to lead to collapse and failure, and basically a recipe that leads to people not succeeding in their greatest and healthiest way, not actually seeing the fruits of their labors and getting the results that they seek in the first place. Plus, I spend an almost dumb amount of time listening to different fitness podcasts and influencers talking about similar concepts and where they see people fail or fall off the wagon. There are common threads we see that lead to fitness failure, but there's one that really seems to trump a lot of the others. And if you fall prey to this one thing, you can almost guarantee that you never get the results that you seek. You could be stuck forever. And maybe this is the struggle that you have. So what is this number one failure? And it's inconsistent action, or to put it another way, consistent inaction. This is one of these things that is just globally not overcomeable for the following reasons. Inconsistent action or consistent inaction leads first to a loss of progress or never getting progress momentum in the first place. Specifically, your fitness improvements, whether strength, endurance, flexibility, or just overall health, require consistency. And if action is repeatedly delayed or skipped, your body won't adapt to the stress of exercise, leading to either stagnation or regression in progress. The loss of progress is first. Second, it leads to a breakdown of habits. What do I mean? Fitness success is universally and almost necessarily built on habits. Consistent inaction disrupts the routine, which makes it harder to reestablish the discipline and develop the discipline muscle. This loss of momentum can also reduce motivation and make restarting feel overwhelming. Have you ever felt this? Have you felt overwhelmed? It might be because you never gave the habits a chance to set in. So that's number two. Number three is a loss of motivation, and a loss of confidence. Repeated inaction leads to feelings of guilt or frustration, which can erode self-confidence. If you see yourself not take action on a consistent basis, you develop an image of yourself as a person who doesn't take action. And then you begin to form an identity of a person who doesn't take action, which makes it even harder in the future. You've now set a precedent of inaction or failing to follow through. It directly impacts how you see yourself, and that directly impacts whether you can sustain an effort over time. You don't want the gap between your goals and your actions to widen, because that leads to demotivation. It can break your confidence entirely. That's number three. Number four is you start to lose the physical adaptations. So physiological adaptations like muscle growth, improving your cardiovascular fitness, your stamina, increasing your metabolism, all of these require regular stimulation. You got to keep stoking the fires of these things to keep the ball moving up court. Inconsistent effort fails to provide the body with the signals it needs to adapt, and that limits your progress. And that too is demotivating. That's point number four. Point number five is you can actually get hurt at a higher rate. What do I mean by that? So when you don't consistently exercise, your body becomes deconditioned, and that leaves your body even less prepared for future workouts. It also increases the likelihood of physical injury if you start physical activity aggressively after a prolonged break. So it could actually make you less safe, less durable, less bomb-proof against future stresses, positive or negative. You're literally less safe when you're not exercising consistently. That's point number 5. Point number 6 is reduced accountability. What do I mean? Skipping workouts or not following a plan can create a pattern of avoiding responsibility. And without that accountability and that sense of personal responsibility, it begins easier to justify future and further inaction. And now you're trapped in this cycle that undermines the entire program. You don't want to fall into this pattern of avoiding the responsibility and avoiding the accountability to follow through. Also, you might think of it like this. You're missing opportunities for positive reinforcement because exercise can be one of those inherently self-rewarding things where you get this immediate feel-good rush of the endorphins, the dopamine, like you start feeling really, really good, and it positively reinforces the behavior. You start feeling better about yourself. You start to see yourself in positive ways. That's the virtuous cycle. You miss out on all of that. You miss out on the improvements to how you feel, your mood, your energy levels, your self-esteem. Inaction prevents all of these positive reinforcements, which makes fitness as a concept less appealing over time. And action, by the way, reverses that trend. So let's get into that because overcoming inaction is one of the most important things for anybody, especially as they begin a fitness program. If you've been in a lifestyle or related to that, a set of patterns of inaction, not exercising, not doing meal prep, not eating in a thoughtful way, not tracking your food, not keeping an eye on your body metrics. If your pattern has been not taking action, here is the antidote to all of that. Firstly, start by setting some fresh, smart goals that excite you. How do you want to look? How do you want to feel? How do you want to live your life? What is your best self? Create that compelling vision for yourself. Frame it into specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, time-bound goals. Put that vision where you can see it so it keeps lighting you up and you can get excited about it each day and move in the direction of your dreams, as Henry David Thoreau says. Number 2, establish a routine and make those workouts non-negotiable appointments. Having a coach expecting you is really helpful in this regard, or having a workout buddy. Point 3, having accountability from a workout buddy, a trainer, or an app. The more accountability that you can have, the better. It makes it easier. And having non-negotiable appointments with people who will hold your feet to that fire, that helps a lot too. As does focusing on progress over perfection. It's especially if you're super type A like me, it's important that you take a moment, pause each day, celebrate small victories, allow yourself to sit in a sense of accomplishment, not just constantly looking to the future, when I get there, but allowing yourself to say, you know what, I just did the thing today. I deserve to feel good about my efforts and the work today. Avoid the all or nothing mindset. If you're taking action today, it's good enough. Let yourself feel satisfied and accomplished in that effort done today. Now, you might need some help, practically speaking, to actually do these things. And if that's the case, you can get all kinds of motivation and education on all of our socials, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Check out the CrossFit Edwardsville socials there. And if you need a coach to help guide you along through all of this, CrossFitEdwardsville.com is your start point. For now, though, we hope that this has given you some clarity about things that stop you from sustaining and succeeding long-term, and giving you some simple action steps that you can do in the future to kick butt, take names, be awesome. Again, to recap, the antidote to inaction: setting fresh, exciting goals that light you up, establishing a routine with non-negotiable appointment times on your calendar, pillars of your schedule that you do not move or negotiate, getting accountability from a coach or somebody else, focusing on progress versus perfection, reach out to us if you need help with any of that. It's Coach G signing off. Thanks for the gift of your time and your attention. We'll see you in the next episode of the podcast.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more useful tools and guidance, go to CrossFitEdwardsville.com and feel free to like, share, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment sections down below. See you in the next episode.